Customer interactions. Today we're talking about customer interactions. I like to call this training, Let's Make Their Day in 10 Seconds. As a store owner, I dream that each customer who walks through our doors could have their own personal shopping BFF to help them find new items they love. Sometimes when we talk about this, it feels like it will be something lengthy that takes a lot of extra time and effort. But here's the reality. Most of our reviews from Google and Facebook, good and bad, are from experiences that take 10 seconds or less. Think of how you can spend 10 seconds with each customer in the store today to help them in some way. Hopefully, you'll make somebody's day. You've just learned how to answer most of our common questions in our store, but today isn't about reciting information. Although it's good to be informative, being able to pass on information isn't typically very helpful. In order to make our customers' day every day, we need our teams to be both informative and helpful. Let me give you an example. After a customer asks where a certain section in the store is, an informative team member says, "It's on the third rack on the left." A helpful team member would escort the customer while saying, "It's here on the third rack on the left. You might also find a similar item on one of our mannequins. Let me know if you need any more help." Being informative and helpful all starts with how we talk to our customers while they're shopping in our store. Let's look at 3 different customer interactions. First, it's an easy one. We call them the greeter. This person is the live door chime, and they simply say, "Welcome to Runway." This is the team member closest to the door, and in an upbeat, friendly voice sets the tone for each person as they walk in the store. Okay, let's take it up a notch. Now try stepping away from your task, leaning in towards that customer, smile, make eye contact with them as you greet them. Doing something as simple as actually acknowledging each person magnifies the effectiveness of this greeting. And that was just the first 2 seconds. Next, the sales floor approach. I think this one is the hardest for most of our team members. Talking to customers face to face. It means you're standing 3 feet from them, talking to them like an actual person. Crazy, right? It requires consistent, intentional awareness of customers in the store, who you've already talked to, and what you've talked to them about. It sounds like a lot, but it's easy, and I'll help you through it. Let's start by saying something like, "Are you finding everything okay?" "Hi, have you been here before?" "What are you looking for today?" "How did you hear about the store?" "What are you shopping for?" "Did you want me to get anything off that mannequin for you?" "What brought you in today?" "Have you ever sold to us before?" These questions all boil down to the same message. "Hi, I work here and I'm willing to be helpful for you when you need me." It's important for customers to know who to turn to when they have questions about the store or when they're looking for something specific. If you've made a friendly introduction, they'll be more inclined to come find you when they need help. Getting to know your customers is fun, and working with them will be the most important and rewarding thing we do every day. Lastly, our 3rd customer interaction, the goodbye. Let's not make it a long one. As the customer leaves the store either after a purchase or not, thank them for coming in today by saying, "Thanks for coming in," or "See you next time." If they seem to have an extra second as they're leaving without a purchase, it can be helpful to say, "What were you looking for today?" Maybe they didn't take advantage of our team to help them find something, or maybe we just didn't have what they were looking for. Pass along their responses to your manager. Fitting rooms. When you're on the sales floor approach, I'm sure you'll run into a fitting room scenario. I'm going to walk you through this one so you'll be ready when it happens to you. You approach the customer and ask, "Are you ready to try those on?" Or, "Can I get a fitting room for you?" I always feel a ridiculous sense of accomplishment if I can ask the customer before they ask me. It feels like a superpower where I can read their mind. Then you say, "I'll take those from you," as you take the items from the customer and escort them to the fitting room. You count their items as you walk back. Your store has a limit for the number of items allowed in a fitting room at a time. If the customer has more, tell the customer, "You can only take 8 items into the fitting rooms at a time, and I'll hold the rest up front for you." Knock on the door to make sure that no one is in there. You open the door and check their fitting room to make sure it's ready. Is it cleared out? Is there anything else in the room that someone left behind or on the floor? You hang their items in the room and ask, "What's your name?" They answer, "Sally." And you say, "Okay, Sally, for any of your items that don't work out for you, put them blank." You tell each customer where to put those items when they're done. either on the green table, on the hook outside their room, leave them hanging in the fitting room. It's different for every store. Wherever it is you want the items to go when the customer is done, make sure to tell them. You write the customer name and number of items they have on the chalkboard or whiteboard outside their door. You check back in 5 to 10 minutes, knock on their door and ask, "How are you doing? Is there anything I can take from you?" As soon as you see the fitting room door open, head over to make sure that they have the same number of items or hangers and offer to take the items that they don't want. Answering the phone. When answering the store phone, it's important to smile and say, "Runway Fashion Exchange, how can I help you?" Many of our customers call our store by the wrong name, so it's important to learn and use the correct name every time. I've heard many team members use other versions of our name, but we are Runway or Runway Fashion Exchange. If you work in one of our Clothing Revival locations, it's important to say the full name every time. Smile and say, "Clothing Revival, how can I help you?" Be prepared to answer easy questions like, "Where are you located?" or "What are your store hours?" If you need to use Google to help you, that's totally fine. When giving store hours, make sure to include our buying hours as well. Other hard questions like, "So how does your store work?" or "If I have some stuff to sell, what do I do?" Maybe they ask, "How much do you pay?" or "What sizes do you accept?" These things can be answered by using the simple statement here. We buy trendy teen and young adult style clothing and accessories. We are looking for items in great condition and styles that have been sold in stores within the last 2 years. We inspect each item for holes, stains, and signs of wear. We take sizes extra small to triple extra large in men's and women's. We pay you 20 to 40% of what we price our items for in the store. We give you cash or store credit the same day. When you bring any items in, we make you an offer on the things that we can buy for our store, and you decide whether you want to accept it or not. Our buying hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., or whatever your buying hours are for your specific store. Try to get all these key components in your response with each customer every time. Style, trendy teen, men's and women's clothing within the last 2 years. Quality, freshly laundered, ready to wear, and in great condition. No spots, stains, or signs of wear. Payout, 20 to 40% cash or store credit. More for store credit. Higher end brands, we pay a higher percentage. Sizes, we take juniors and women's sizes 00 to 18 or extra small to triple extra large, and 28 to 42 in men's sizes or extra small to triple extra large. Always end your phone conversations with, "Thanks for calling today." Common questions or misconceptions. We are not a consignment store. A consignment store sells your items for you. You agree on a selling price and the store will mark down the item until it sells. After they sell, the store pays you a percentage of the selling price, usually 40 to 50% in cash or store credit, whichever you prefer. Runway is a resale store. A resale store buys your items up front and pays either cash or store credit the same day, before the item sells. Because our store is taking a chance on the selling price, we pay a little less than the consignment store would for your items. We don't pay a ton of money. Our store is a really great place to sell a lot of items at once, but for customers with single, high-end items that are looking for market value, they're sometimes better off selling it online or at a local yard sale page like Facebook or Craigslist. The advantage to our store is that we pay cash right away, usually within 1 hour. Customers pay us a premium to do so. That's why our payouts are lower than consignment. We also price our items much lower than retail because our customers come to our store to find great deals. Why do we have buying hours? We want to make sure that our certified buyers are able to complete all of the buys for the day. When buys come in outside of these hours, be very careful about how or if you turn these customers away. If we can complete their buy for them, let's do it. Every time. Make sure that they're aware of our buying hours and that this is a one-time exception we're willing to make for them. Most customers don't know our buying policy, and it's very inconvenient for them to bring back items, so please be courteous of their time. But also be reasonable and upfront about our designated times and communicate with each customer by saying, "Our buying hours end at 7 p.m., but since you have a small bag, I can finish it quickly here. I'm able to make an exception for you one time if you're willing to stay in the store until it's finished. Next time, bring your items in to sell before 7 p.m. Or, Our buying hours end at 8 p.m. Since you have a few large bags, I won't be able to process these items by the time we close. Let me check with my manager to make sure I can make a one-time exception for you to accept them. You can leave them here at the store, and they'll be sorted tomorrow morning when we open. Next time you bring items in to sell, please bring them in before 8 p.m. Why do I need an ID to sell clothing? We're similar to a pawn shop in that we pay cash. Although it's rare, any items that are stolen that we take into the store have potential to be confiscated by the police. We take an ID just as a pawn shop to track who sells to our store. Their personal information is stored only on our store computer and never shared with anyone. Even other stores in the franchise do not have access to that information. I know there's a lot of info we just covered. If you're new to working in retail, it may take a while to master customer engagement. And if you've been working in retail before, there are plenty of opportunities for you to learn new things, especially when it comes to our buying processes. If there's anything we just covered that you're nervous or apprehensive about, be sure to talk to your manager. They are your best resource to lead you through the next steps.